The Sci-Fi Channel. Just how many jokes is this thing the butt of? For those of you that don't know, the Sci-Fi Channel, previously actually spelled correctly, is an American television channel that focuses primarily on speculative fiction-based programming such as fantasy, horror, and indeed sci-fi. They're most infamous for making the Sci-Fi Channel original movies, though both they and I use the term original very loosely here. Since 2001, the Sci-Fi Channel has been spinning out several movies a year at about $1 or $2 million budgets, most of them monster movies of one sort or another. These are infamous for being cheap, looking the part, being incredibly stupid, and very, very formulaic. Don't believe me? Just try counting how many of these basically boil down to, oh no, the military made a bad thing. Or if that doesn't work, try counting how many of them are about sharks. With all that said though, their movies can actually be kind of fun as a result if you're into this sort of thing, and if nothing else, they at least try to pick a lot of monsters that you don't usually see in theaters. And in these freezing cold winter months, what could be better than curling up in a blanket and watching some snow-covered slaughter? Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Abominable! No points for guessing what monster this movie might be about. Let's just hope it's not a prophetic title. As the movie begins, we're introduced to a wheelchair-bound man named Preston, who is headed to a cabin in the mountains along with a caretaker named Otis, in order to relax as part of some sort of psychiatric treatment against a former trauma.
Woo! Much better. Hey, what are you doing?
Let's get this show on the road.
Oh, I was listening to that.
What do you say we lay a few ground rules right now, Preston? Dr. Rayner, he released you into my care. That means I'm going to be calling the shots from here on out.
What? No! It means you're there to look after a sick man, you dick! On the way there, they stop to shop for supplies, allowing Otis to chat with a store clerk that should look pretty damn familiar to any zombie fan.
Good afternoon.
Hey.
Yep, that's right, that's Jeffrey Combs, best known as the Re-animator. Don't drink the Mountain Dew, Otis. You'll never rest in peace if you do.
I'm up here with Preston Rogers. I'm bringing him home.
Preston Rogers? No shit.
No. Got him in the car outside.
Why, that was an ugly mess. Real ugly. His wife was nice. She was real nice. She wasn't a bad-looking lady either, if you know what I mean.
Know what I mean? Know what I mean? That's nuts. That's nuts. Know what I mean? Say no more. Know what I mean?
They say she died before she hit the ground. Heart attack. In midair.
Alright, I'm totally starting a band called Midair Heart Attack. Who's with me on this?
It happened right up there. Suicide Rock.
Suicide Rock? That's totally gonna be our first song. Thanks, Dr. West, you're killing it! And raising it. After this fun little encounter, the two of them arrive in the cabin, and Otis wastes no time in confirming our suspicion that he's pretty much the worst caretaker that ever lived.
Can't make your shake unless you want regular milk.
You didn't bring the soy milk?
Regular milk's not going to kill you, Preston.
Otis, I'm allergic.
Look at him. He looks like he's downright offended that Preston dares to have a point. I love it. Despite this, Otis does go to get the soy milk, even when his patient insists that he doesn't want to be left alone.
Look, Otis, I'd kind of rather not be alone right now.
30 minutes, Mr. R. You'll be just fine.
20 minutes. It's been less than 20 minutes, and Otis has already proven himself terrible at his job 3 times. Who the hell left him in charge of a mentally vulnerable man? Well, it's at about this time that a group of young women move into the neighboring cabin for some sort of bachelorette getaway.
Karen, check this out. Karen. Hurtburger!
I just want to see if he
She's on the
called.
phone again. You guys do what they're good.
Hurtburger, get off the phone now!
Hurtburger? What the hell kind of name is Hurtburger? That sounds like something they'd call the annoying neighbor in a sitcom like, Hurtburger! With Otis still gone, Preston starts to get a little bored and looks out the window. Here he notices that a phone line has been knocked over and picks up his binoculars to get a better look. Still a bit bored, he does eventually spy on the girls a little bit and spots Turd Burglar going outside to call someone on her cell phone.
hanging out up here in the mountains where there is absolutely nothing to do. Yeah, she's having fun. I miss you so much.
And just like that, Nerf Herder is gone. And I wonder where she went. She certainly was not taken by a monster. I mean, that roaring sound could have been anything.
Oh, come on, Preston. You're imagining things.
Seriously though, why? Why have that roaring sound there in the first place? We have a perfectly good shot of Preston looking away and something quickly moving by when it does. It completely ruins a fine little suspense moment in a movie that's already actually taking its time with the setup. Alright, come on, let's try this suspense building thing again. You were actually doing pretty well, but let's just do that one more time. I mean, we can still salvage this. Or you can just give up and not try to build tension at all anymore. That's cool too. As Preston tries to send an email to the police that he for some reason decides should be phrased like a line from a novel, it's quickly made clear that he's not alone in the house. Oh, thank God. It's just the nurse of the year here returning to the mentally vulnerable man he abandoned without even announcing his arrival. Oh, thank God. Everything is cool, guys. Everything's under control. We got it from here. Really? A hand on the shoulder scare? Man, that shit was old even in the 80s. Why does this always happen in movies? I mean, honestly, who the hell actually does that to people? Have you ever greeted someone by sneaking up on them from behind and violently shaking their shoulder? No! Because you're not a fucking creep! Preston tries to tell Otis what he saw and that one of the girls have gone missing, but naturally Otis doesn't believe him. Otis ends up convincing Preston that if Smurf Kurtler still hasn't shown up after they eat dinner, he'll go talk to the girls. Okay, so by now those of you that have any interest in movies are probably starting to realize that this movie has a lot in common with an old classic. It's basically a monster version of Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window. I mean, really, it's all there. We've got a wheelchair-bound man spying on the neighbors and seeing something frightening while no one around him believes him, with all the suspense coming from his attempting to communicate and warn the would-be victims of the danger. It's not like this is the only movie to adapt this idea either. Disturbia is basically a teen remake of Rear Window, and the 80s vampire movie Fright Night pretty much begins the same way as this one, with a person spotting monster activity in the neighboring house. And to be honest, I kinda like it. I mean, in any other sci-fi movie, we'd be spending all our time in the girls' cabin and doing things extremely by the numbers, but here they actually tried to tackle it from a slightly different angle. I think the movie deserves a couple brownie points for that at least. But since this movie has completely given up going for any kind of ambiguity at all, we cut to the store clerk from before, bringing a couple hunters out to hunt what they believe to be Sasquatch.
My grandpa saw it once. He says it only comes out after dark. You know, my question to y'all is, you sure you want to find it? Because some things are better left unfound.
This coming from a guy who chain smokes at his gas station hooked up to an oxygen bottle.
Thank you for the reminder. I believe I will.
Guess you never heard of the Darwin Awards.
What? The same way the Sci-Fi Channel has never heard of the Emmy Awards? Oh. Damn it. There goes that joke. Also, if you look closely, one of the hunters should be familiar to any monster movie fan.
May God strike him dead if I'm lying. You don't believe me, Mr. Skeptic? Take a good look in the mirror. You're sitting out here roasting marshmallows looking for Sasquatch.
Hell yeah! I love this guy! You can barely watch a monster movie without him popping up somewhere. And now he's camping with Jeffrey Combs. Prepare for some major ass kicking. This movie just got awesome. True to his badassery, Lance motherfucking Henriksen wanders off and finds the Sasquatch's lair, where he also finds Bird Hurdler.
Help me.
Listen, you're safe now.
Please, it's coming back for me.
Don't worry. I just gotta...
No. Please.
That's all right, sweetheart. I'll be back in a jiffy, okay? Oh, shit.
Lance motherfucking Henriksen runs back to the others and wastes no time in getting the lot of them to unload their rounds into the woods.
Jesus Christ, you satisfied?
Take that, cocksucker!
Oh hell fucking yes! It's Lance motherfucking Henriksen and Jeffrey Combs versus Sasquatch! Oh my god, yes! Give it to me! Okay, that was pretty lame, but we still got Jeffrey Combs. Yeah, the re-animator, the king of zombies, the duke of the dead, Back at the cabin, Otis falls asleep, leaving Preston to try and solve things himself once more. In a pretty smart move, he goes to his computer in order to try and find the disappeared girl's cell phone number online.
All right, come on. What was her last name?
Turd burglar, nerf herder, smurf curdler, bird hurler, squirt gurgler! Ew, I grossed myself out with that one. So, since the grown man with health problems in 2006 somehow does not have a cell phone, he uses one of those online text message services that used to be all over the internet to send a warning to Karen's phone, hoping that the girls will find it and pick it up.
Your friend was taken into the forest. Get police. Sounds so stupid.
Yeah, that is some Tucker and Dale versus Evil level miscommunication just waiting to happen. You might want to rewrite that. The girls do eventually hear the phone and go outside to find it, but refuse to read the new message out of a sense of privacy, forcing Preston to get more creative.
Ew, it's a peeping Tom.
That's right. Look up here.
What do you mean, peeping Tom? He's trying to communicate with you with a universally known emergency language. He's frantically waving at you. The man is clearly terrified. What do you think he's signaling?
Ew.
Oh. Ew, what a creep.
That's right, look up here.
Preston continues to keep an eye out for the monster. Once he spots it, he calls over Otis to get him to see it.
Oh my god. You see it?
Yes. It's a giant piece of bread with legs on it.
I don't get it. Otis thinks Preston is just spying on the girls in the shower and walks off. When the girl predictably gets attacked, Otis still refuses to believe Preston and tries to force him to take calming medicine.
No!
Preston! What the fuck? What'd you do?
Wow. Preston just managed to hit the exact right spot to administer anesthesia by complete accident in the middle of a fight. What are the odds? With this, Preston turns to get ready to help the girls some more. We then cut to the nearby police station where they've just read Preston's email.
Should we go check it out?
Oh, hey. Not so fast there, Pally.
Why, what you're suggesting almost sounds like work.
In the meantime, if you don't mind, I'm going to the head. I'm going to give birth to a monster.
Poop joke. Oh, alright, so that doesn't happen. Once he finally wakes up, Preston attempts to find something to arm himself with.
I'm gonna need a bigger knife.
You're gonna need to write your own lines. Back with the girls, they instantly panic when they realize one of them is gone. Preston tries throwing something out the window to catch their attention, but instead the monster spots him. And promptly ignores him in favor of that puss. Finally doing things the easy way, Preston yells at the girls through the window. But the monster is already inside the house, and this is where the slaughter begins.
Hit the bitch!
Only one of the girls, named Amanda, manages to escape and make it to Preston's house. In order to calm her down, Preston tells us how he lost his wife and the use of his legs in a climbing accident on the mountain called Suicide Rock.
And other than that time, that moment, when that cable snapped and I was falling through all of that empty space, tonight is the scariest night of my life. I'm scared to death right now.
Me too.
I mean, that means that we're alive. That means that we want to live.
Doesn't it also kind of mean you don't have time for a long-winded pep talk? Just asking. While Preston prepares their escape, he tells Amanda to try emailing the police again.
Okay.
Oh, Amanda,
Yeah.
don't mention anything about a monster.
Why not?
They won't believe you.
Preston sets up some climbing gear that will let him and Amanda escape over the balcony as the monster approaches. But despite it using the good old scary slow walk, they don't make it in time and all seems lost.
Hey! Ass monkey! Eat this!
Boom! Fuck yeah, that was awesome! Character redeemed. Unfortunately, Otis's attack doesn't work, and he's instead rewarded with the goriest and definitely coolest kill in the entire movie. His attack did, however, leave Preston and Amanda enough time to get into a car and try to drive off with Amanda at the wheel. You know, there's a female driver joke here somewhere, but I like to think I'm better than that. The monster goes for Amanda, who has gone through the car window, but Preston realizes he can drive it crazy by honking the car horn. When the monster comes for him, he rams the reverse on the car and pins the monster against a tree, driving Otis's axe deeper into its body.
Die, you ugly fuck.
Hey, there you go, that's much better! It's still a little bit jawsy, but keep trying. Once the monster finally dies, Preston crawls to Amanda's side and falls unconscious. As the cops finally arrive, they walk through this oddly local rain to find the bodies.
What in
And with that hilariously cheesy ending, Abominable finally comes to a close. So, Abominable. Whew. Just another rehashed piece of sci-fi garbage, right? Actually, I don't think so. I mean, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't say this is a particularly good movie. It's full of terrible sci-fi trappings such as the awful effects-laden POV shots, a less than great looking monster, a lack of real suspense, the lapses in logic, and some less than stellar acting in places, but I think it has a lot going for it in spite of that. While not necessarily the most original idea, the rear window angle definitely sets it apart from the rest of Sci-Fi's films. It has a couple of fun cameos, and though they blow it at times, they do try to set things up with some decent suspense building. With a bit of tweaking, this could have been a pretty intense monster survival movie, and is definitely watchable and pretty fun in places. It just goes to show what Sci-Fi potentially could do if they ever focused on quality over quantity. But I think it's a pretty safe bet that that's never going to happen. But hey, at least they got one of them halfway right, huh? That's not so bad. Gotta take what you can get. And with that, I'll see you guys next time. Hello guys, and thanks a lot for watching my review of Sci-Fi Channel's Abominable. I hope it warmed up this cold January for you just a little. If you enjoyed this video, please like and leave a comment. They really mean the world to me. There's much more like this coming, and if you want to stick around to see it, please press this delightful subscribe button. And if you really can't get enough of me, you can also find me on Facebook, Twitter and Twitch, all of which have links in the description below. Thanks again for watching, and see you next time.